Greetings, John, Nancy, Brian, Jason, and others who will be watching this dedication of our John Otto Expressway. Of course, we wanted to hold this very important event at our beautiful community center and have many people in attendance, but current events prohibit that from happening. And as with other gatherings, these days we're having to do so virtually. I would like to commend Alan Connor, our municipal city judge, for proposing this highway dedication, and also the Dayton City Council for approving it and applauding it.
Yes, John Otto. I've known John Otto basically all my life. He's a couple of years older than me. We did participate in sports together, but I always thought he was a top drawer kind of guy. He was just one of those guys that was really good. Of course, his blood is purple and maroon because he's a Bronco and an Aggie. But Dayton is very proud of what John has done for Dayton. He's served on many capacities. He's City Council, Dayton Community Development Corporation, Dayton School Board. He's just been very active and a very big part of our community. I kind of hatched this idea back when I was chief appraiser at the appraisal district. I was working pretty closely with John on property tax changes that he had initiated to help property owners. And at the time, he decided that he was going to take on the project getting Highway 146 widened. Of course, 146 was a two-lane road, had a lot of wrecks on it, heavy traffic. We have a lot of citizens that live and work in the metro area, especially the petrochemical area. And so it was real important to Dayton. And to be honest with you, all the years I've worked with the highway department, I've never seen a project move this quickly from the planning to the design to the construction stage. And John got it. It was all because of John. John got it done. He decided it was something that needed to be done for Dayton, and it's been a really a godsend to a lot of us that were here back when it was two-lane. Remember that. Some of the newcomers don't remember when it was a two-lane. Very dangerous straight roadway. A lot of car wrecks. But anyway, I hatched the idea and thought about it for a year or two, and then brought it up to the enhancement committee. I have to thank the enhancement committee, the 100% unanimous vote to recommend to the city council that we name Highway 146 after John Otto.
Good afternoon. We have a resolution here from Liberty County Commissioners Court for our friend John Otto. And, it reads, whereas John Otto has been a lifelong resident of Liberty County and honorably served his county in the Texas State Legislature as our District 18 State Representative from 2004 to 2017. And whereas Representative Otto, during his years of public service to the state of Texas and Liberty County, was a formidable figure in local and state government, having served as a member of the Dayton City Council, Dayton School Board, and the Texas State Legislature. And whereas Representative Otto, having served in many capacities with the state legislature, to include chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, has throughout his public service career always lent his exemplary talents and skills as a class of 70 Aggie certified public accountant to make better his city, school district, county, and state. And whereas Representative Otto, always a visionary toward improvements in economic development, public safety, and an enhanced quality of life for his constituents, was a driving force in the widening of State Highway 146 between the cities of Dayton and Mont Belvieu, where a safer highway was realized upon its completion in 2011, bringing about greater economic opportunities and a more efficient transportation route to cities further south. And whereas in consideration of Representative Otto's exemplary leadership and commitment to his great state and his fellow citizens, be it resolved that in recognition to his unselfish service to the city of Dayton, Dayton Independent School District, Liberty County, and the great state of Texas, the portion of State Highway 146 from its intersection with US 90 South to the Dayton city limits be named the John Otto Expressway, in commemoration of his many years of valuable public service to us all, and with our grateful acknowledgement to him and our many thanks for a job always well done. Signed and sealed this 30th day of July 2020, J. Knight, Liberty County Judge. Congratulations, John, and giggle.
Hey John, this is Ernest, and I just wanted to really hit on the fact of the huge impact you were on my life. Prior to me being elected, when I was able to work side by side with you in your capacity as state representative for House District 18, you were always there, you were willing to listen, very compassionate, and you always did what it took to find the answer, to make the numbers work, and just, you were a huge aspiration, and I tell you, you left some really big shoes to fill. You've left a huge lasting impact, which will be felt for years to come, not only throughout Liberty and Dayton, but all of House District 18, which you've had the opportunity to serve and represent. And I tell you, this sign memorializing the stretch of highway in your name, it'll be here for generations to come, so they can look, they can recognize, and they can remember the legacy that John Otto filled, and just what he did to help make House District 18 and all Liberty County a better place. So with that, we love you, we appreciate all that you do, and we're sure thinking about you and Nancy right now. Take care, and you have a good one.
I have had the honor and privilege of knowing and working with and for John Otto for over 15 years. When I was his chief of staff in 2005, he came to me very early on, and he said one of his absolute priorities in the Texas legislature was addressing the dangers of State Highway 146. We talked about it. We went through some terrible statistics and the toll of what that road had taken on that community, and he had a plan. So John Otto got together with leadership and made sure they understand just how important this project was to the health and safety of the people of District 18. He's John Otto. They listened, and they put together a plan. John Otto got this project funded. It got built, and it's only appropriate that it bears his name. He was an amazing state rep for District 18, and this is just one example of what he was able to do for that district. And I'm glad that today it's being memorialized with his name, and that we honor his efforts and commitment and dedication of that district and for everything he meant for that area.
I don't need to tell anyone who has lived in Dayton, Texas, how important Highway 146 is to our city. It's one of the main arteries, north and south. It takes us to all points south, and it very much needed to be widened to 4-lane. I myself traveled that highway twice a day from 1992 through 2009, the 17 years that I taught at Barbers Hill ISD. And I saw many accidents on that stretch of highway over the years. The most horrific accident, though, probably the worst one I've ever seen in my life, happened in December of 2008 when a man was traveling in his truck coming from Dayton toward Baytown, getting close to the canal area, and he was impatient. He decided he had to go around the 5 cars that were in front of him, and he did so at a very high rate of speed. But when he saw the oncoming traffic getting closer, he clipped the lead car of that 5 and sent the woman in her car careening out into the ditch, where she was very seriously injured. The coming car, the on-traffic car coming toward him, the lead car saw what was about to happen, and so she took herself into the ditch, and she hit a post and was also seriously injured. It just happened that she was a teacher on my faculty, which I found out later that evening. But the car behind her did not have time to react at all, and she was hit head on. She died a few minutes later in her car, and the man in the truck, he was thrown from his truck onto the highway, where he also died. I happened to come up on the scene, the second car on the scene coming from Barbers Hill, and smoke was still pouring from his truck. His wheels were still turning, and I will never forget that as long as I live. It really shook me for a long time. I can remember being elated when the construction on that highway began. I didn't care how long it took to get it done. We were just so happy that it was finally being done, and it was due to the efforts of John Otto, as Alan said. So we want to thank his due diligence and thank John very, very much. And at this time, we would like to unveil the marker that we have for this highway, and then I want to read the ordinance that City Council passed recently. It is with great pleasure that we dedicate and celebrate Highway 146 within the Dayton city limits as the John Otto Expressway. This is a replica of the sign that appears on the highway, and we will be sending you this along with the ordinance and proclamations that have been read, and you'll be getting this very soon. Thank you, John, so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny.
This is an ordinance of the City of Dayton, Texas, recognizing Representative John Otto's service to the citizens of Dayton by renaming a portion of State Highway 146 in Dayton the John Otto Expressway. Whereas Representative John Otto faithfully served the citizens of Dayton and its surrounding area as a Texas State Representative for District 18 from 2004 to 2017, and whereas during his tenure in office, Representative John Otto served as a conduit between the citizens of Dayton and the Texas government officials in Austin, and whereas Representative Otto was relentless in his support for the needs of our community, and whereas Representative Otto was instrumental in the expansion and widening of State Highway 146 between Dayton and Mont Belvieu, and whereas the expansion of State Highway 146 has been instrumental in the economic growth of the city of Dayton, and whereas the widening of State Highway 146 has saved countless lives by creating a safer driving environment, and whereas the City Council of the City of Dayton, Texas desires to recognize Representative Otto's countless contributions to the City of Dayton by renaming the portion of State Highway 146 located within the City of Dayton city limits and the John Otto Expressway. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Dayton, Texas, in recognition of his service to the citizens of Dayton, Texas, the Dayton City Council hereby renames the portion of State Highway 146 from its intersection with US Highway 90 South to the Dayton city limits as the John Otto Expressway. This ordinance shall take place immediately. Passed and adopted at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Dayton this 15th day of June, 2020. Signed, Caroline Wadzik, Mayor. John, we are very grateful to you for serving as our representative in Dayton for 13 years and for accomplishing so much for Liberty County, and we're especially grateful for this highway expansion that we're celebrating today. When I told our friend Jimmy Sterling about this dedication, he remarked to me, "Well, now we have our own Autobahn." Can't you hear him saying that? And so now I think that every time I drive to Baytown. Thank you, John, for being our friend and for the public service to your community. We love, appreciate, and honor you.